When you go to the United States and you go to the kindergarten places, they have the plates. The plates are divided into portions.
Right.
They have the food pyramid. You have to have X amount of protein, X amount of vegetables, X amount of starch. They have all of that. When you go to Liberia, we have one big plate. And on top of that plate is all rice. And if you are not fortunate, you just put oil, red oil on it, and you eat it and you go to sleep. There's no other nutritional value on that particular plate. If you are fortunate to have cassava leaf or palm butter, you were lucky. So here we are. We are going to be talking exclusively for the next hour about rice, the importance of rice. How do we get to where we are now, where we are stuck? We cannot produce enough rice. There are people in Basa calling me here. They're sitting on the farm and calling me here to buy rice. Mr. Java, introduce yourself to the Liberian people. How old are you? Where are you from? How long you been doing this? And how did you come with this ambition to grow rice, not just rice, but for us to feed ourselves?
Thank you very much for having me, Gilman. You know, I started this as a young boy growing up in Liberia, in Sano County. You know, when the missionary came to Liberia, my grandmother used to live with the missionary. Somebody needs to mute themselves.
Mute your phone, guys. Mr. Galapa, I think it's from your end. Mute your line. There you go. Go ahead.
All right. So as I was saying, when the missionary came to Liberia, the AG missionary, my grandmother used to live with them. My grandfather used to live with them. So they taught our grandparents how to grow rice, the parboiled rice. And now growing up, my grandmother taught me how to make parboiled rice in Sano County. And then we have farm. We had goats, more than 300 goats. We had pigs. We had rabbits. We had all kinds of vegetables were growing in Sano County. And I fell in love with growing food in the 80s. So by the grace of God, I was able to travel to the US. I decided to take it to another level, to learn about all plants, how to grow all plants. So I brought our plants from Liberia and brought them to the US and started to conduct study on our plants, experiment for 17 years, to know how to grow our plants, the kind of insect that attack the plant, the kind of diseases that affect the plant, and what the plant needs to grow and all that kind of stuff. And for 17 years, I studied about our plants in the US to be able to go home to grow food for our country. So Armstrong Jabba is just a simple guy from the bush in Sano County, born in Liberia.
Thank you very much. A gentleman from Sino County.
Yep.
We are talking about James E. Green, the home of James E. Green.
Right.
Thank you very much. Mr. Galakwa, introduce yourself. What is it you do, and how long you been doing this?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the invite. I think tonight is my second time appearing on Focus on Liberia. So let me firstly say thank you very much. I'm James Kwali Galagwak, the CEO and founder of Liberia Fields Agriculture Initiative, based in Lofa County, to be precise, in Wewunta Town, Southern District. I have been to this agribusiness for the times I grew up. I met my parents into farming activities in Lofa, and during my high school days, my schooling days, I got to understand that in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, Lofa was the bread basket of the republic. Knowing all of those things, taking it into consideration, during the war, we migrated to Guinea. So when we went to Guinea, we were in Guinea. After the war, we returned back to Liberia. And looking at that, I felt that food is very much food security is very much important in the world, and more especially having come from a country that had been on the map when it comes to production. That is, when it comes to food production and had been the breadbasket of the republic. I feel that there's a need that as a young man who have the energy, who have the strength, and also looking at my community, having the manpowers and youth that are willing to get involved into agribusiness. I thought it was, I think there's a need that we Liberians can go back to the soil to grow what we can eat and also be able to rebrand the titles of the bread baskets of local content. That actually motivated me to get into agribusiness.
You are muted.
Thank you. I'm hearing about your workforce. I heard you have, from most of the videos that we look at, you have a huge workforce.
Yeah, yes. Well, Liberia, yeah, yeah. We Liberia Free as agriculture. We first. Are you getting me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Liberia Free initiative was, yeah, okay, was in 2014, where we first started with 20 men, uh, doing rice farming and cocoa and oil palm as well. So the currently, as we speak, we have increased the workforce in our region, that is our community. Currently, as we speak, I have 50 males and 50 females that are working on our farms in Lofa County. As we speak, I have currently 100 person working with me in Lofa.
Thank you very much. Workforce of 100. Can you imagine if every one of us could take 10 people off the government payroll? Mr. Galapa, can you mute your line? Okay. Can you imagine if everybody took 10 people off the government payroll? This young man is hiring, we are talking about 100 employees from the Liberian payroll. Mr. Java, I know you are on a different scale. Tell me about your operation, your manpower, and the landscape. How many counties you are operating in? How large is your establishment?
Thank you very much. Someone need to mute their phone to stop the echo.
Yes, Mr. Galakra, can you mute? Yeah, the line is open. Mr. Galakra, put your phone on mute.
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Galakra, put your phone on mute. Yeah, go ahead, Jabba.
Yeah, it is.
No, you are still open. Put your phone on mute. Put your microphone on mute.
You are using two phones. There's a conflict in frequency.
Yeah, you are using two devices. You gotta put both of them on
you
mute.
can have both on.
Okay.
All
right, thank you.
Okay, there you go. Yes, go ahead. I know I've seen you do a lot of stuff. I've seen Maryland County. I've seen Nimba. Talk to us about the size of your operation, as massive as it is.
Thank you very much. Personally, we are operating in Nima County, in Maryland County, and we have the people of Grand Bassa County also give us 1,300 acres to start our first rice farm in Grand Bassa County. So in Nima County, we are looking at 100 regular workers, and then we have something called daily hire. So daily hire are people that come in and do daily work, and we pay them. So sometimes it ranges from maybe 200, 300 to 500 person. We give them a job, They do a certain portion of the work at the farm, and then we pay them. And then in Maryland County, we just started a project in Maryland County where we have about 45% working in Maryland County. The people of Maryland County gave us 20,000 acres. So we'll be recruiting up to at least about between 500 to 1,000 workers in Maryland County. So our boys are on the ground. They are now cultivating a little farm for us to produce seeds that we can use next year to be able to cultivate the 20,000 acres, which will be able to produce up to 1 million bag of rice. So that's it. But we got people called daily hire, and those are not regular workers, so I don't count them. But there are more than 500 to 600 persons that we usually call to do work at our farm.
Great. Now you talk about the goal of producing 1 million bags of rice annually.
Yeah.
Okay. What would it take to produce, and how long can you do this? Let's say within 2 years or over the next 5 years, or how are you going to get to 1 million bags of rice? That's a lot of food.
We have 20,000 acres in Maryland County. So what we are trying to do is to clear the land. If we can clear it, it will take up to maybe 4 to 6 months to clear the land. So if we can clear that land next year, we can be able to produce up to 1 million bag of rice. We can do that. Growing rice is not difficult. Our people don't know it. It's not difficult. Rice is like a grass. You plant the rice, it's easy to grow. You see, but our people don't know, and they think that by inputting rice is the right way to go. But you can see what I'm doing in Maryland County and is in Nima County. Our people don't even believe that rice can grow every month in Liberia. I've introduced a new system in Liberia that we grow rice from January to December, non-stop, year-round. For 3 years, we did the experiment and it worked. 3 years straight, from January to December, non-stop. So if we can use that system in Liberia, we can use my system. My system is called systematic farming, the Liberian model. If we can use my system, we can grow so much rice in Liberia within a short period of time. Now, you look at the population of Liberia, we are only 5 million people. With 5 million people, it shouldn't take more than 3 years to grow rice for the country. If you have the equipment, you have the land, you can talk about the manpower. We have a young youth population, so the manpower is there. We got our water, we got everything we need to grow our own rice. And it will take only 3 years for us to be able to grow our own rice. I mean, all the rice we eat, we can stop importation in 3 years' time. If we have the materials that we need, the equipment, and a very good rice mill, and build warehouses where we can be able to grow our own food. 3 years.
Okay, now what would it take when you say you need equipment, because you're talking about 20,000 acres of land here?
Yeah.
To clear this, you would need a lot of manpower. What do you need to clear such a land? And your farming, is it considered low land or high land? Tell me what the difference.
It's low land. Let me tell you what low land is. Sometimes our people don't know when they talk about low land farming. Our people just think that the swamp is the low land. That's why Liberians call low land the swamp. No, the swamp is not the only low land. Wherever you have flat land, we call that low land. You can take that flat land, remove all the trees, remove all the storms and everything, and turn it into what you want it to be and grow rice. That's low land. So the land we have in Maryland County is low land. We want to clear all the trees and everything, and then we'll be able to build all the plots and everything, and then we'll put in our irrigation system, and we start to grow the rice. What we really need to be able to cultivate that farm will be yellow machine to clear the land. Yellow machine, and you need tractors to be able to till the soil. You need harvester. Here in the US, we have what we call the combine that can harvest the rice at the same time, and thrashing the rice. It makes it very easy. So we need like 1 or 2 combine. We need 1 or 2 power or tractor. In the yellow machine, or we already have yellow machine library. The government used the yellow machine to build roads. The same machine that used to build road is the same machine that is used to clear farm for growing food. So the yellow machines are already there. So all we need now are just some power, some tractors, some combine, And that's it. We can start small. We don't have to start big. That's why I said 20,000 acres. We're starting with 20,000 at least to produce 1 million bags a year. On 20,000 acres, you should be able to produce up to 2 million bags of rice a year. If you know what you are doing, you should be able to produce up to 200 million bags of rice a year on the 20 acre, because the rice take only 3 months to grow. So, but I'm saying 1 million because, when you are starting, the yield is not the same like when this place is already established. You see, so I can say 1 million, but has we built it, and prepare the plots very well, and then apply methods that will cause the yield to increase, we can produce up to 2 million bags of rice a year from that 20,000 acres.
Mr. Galakwa here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On Point. We are talking about Liberia staple food, the rice. We are talking about two people in the agriculture field. Today, we are not talking about PhDs and research at a laboratory and people coming here and quoting all kinds of stuff. We passed that. We are now talking about implementation,
Practical.
where the tire meet the road. When I was in grad school, my professor used to say this: all the plan you want to know in the world is sitting in somebody's office. The greatest obstacle is to take that plan and apply it to make it work. So this is where Armstrong and Mr. Galakwa comes in. These folks are now using what we're talking about, even in the absence of the mechanized machine and all of that. They are still making do with what they have.
Right.
Mr. Galakwa, the last time I was watching you, you produced all this rice and you didn't even have a mill to process the rice. You had to take your rice to another mill place for these people to process your rice. And then what it did also was to rob you. They told you if you brought in 100 bags of rice or 1,000 bags of rice, a percentage of your rice will have to remain with them because you are using the mill. I mean, I almost cried. All your work that you have done. These people are telling you, bring your rice over here, but for you to use our mill, a percentage of your labor has to remain here. Talk to me about that. Mr. Galakwa, can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Like you rightfully stated, those are some of the challenges. Like you asked a question, how can we make Liberia to feed herself? It's by mechanized farming. We have to do away with the traditional farming, like way back we used to get involved into it, like using quality local tools. In doing that, we will not be able to feed the entire nation. But if, as a nation and people who believe in the agriculture sector, can then use the various tools that veteran agriculture Armstrong was just talking about, like the yellow machine and power tiller and all of those things. If we can start to use those tools, right, getting involved into mechanized farming, definitely will be able to feed ourselves in Liberia and stop importation of rice from India and China as well. So these are some of the advocacies that we are doing over the period of time. So if we can start to get involved hugely with that, definitely we will be heading somewhere. But if we just forget about that and just continue with this traditional farming, definitely will not be able to feed ourselves, because we will not be able to cover up almost like 1,000 acres of land. You understand? But if we have those tools will be able to make our work more easier to invest, that is to plant almost over 1,000 acres of land with rice, or 2,000 acres of land with rice. You understand? And in doing that, that will be able to help us as a nation to feed ourselves and stop importation. Like you were saying, these are some of the challenges. Sometimes we harvest. When I harvest, I have to take my rice to a local mill in my community to mill my rice. And when they mill the rice, sometimes we have to do give and take. So they mill the rice, I give them their share, I take my share. The one that will live with me, I use that and sell it and be able to enlarge my farm. Because not just rice I'm into in Lofa, we are also involving into cocoa, also involving into oil palms as well and vegetable as well. So those are things that we are involving into. So if we can start to treat agriculture
Great, Mr. Java.
Right.
Obviously, Monrovia, we know the internet sector there is rough, and he's a
Right.
family man. He's a businessman. He's in his store, so
Yeah.
everyone business,
yeah.
wealth, we will get huge.
Okay, so you can see business is going on. You see grandma over there looking at, hey, what's
Okay.
going on here? But that's great. That's what this is all about. We are not corporation here. We are not talking about. We are talking about mom and pop, and we want to bring the whole family into it. Mr. Java, what are your obstacles? How do you? I know you process a lot of rice. You have a huge warehouse. I purchased some rice from you. How have you been able to process those rice to I guess package them and store them? And how do you distribute? Because you all over the place. How do you get them from one place to another?
My brother, you see, when it comes to farming, it requires a lot of planning. In a lot of planning, you have to know what you are doing. So what I did before we even started growing the rice, we have our own boys on the ground that are well trained to produce the bags, the empty bags. So we make our own bags in Liberia. At the same time, we have our guys who do the printing and stuff, print the bags, everything. They do the printing, everything, the names. So we have our own mill. I have an Indian friend in Liberia. He bought the mill from India. They do stone removal, the machine that can remove all the little sand and rocks and stuff. That's why you see the Liberian people they praise our rice. You can find one sand, grain of sand in our rice. You can find a little stone, even one black thing in our rice. Our rice is very clean. So my Indian friend helped me. He bought the machine for us, even though the machines are not big, but we managed to train our boys on the ground how to operate the machine, and not just to operate, but how to repair the machine. So we have a crew on the ground that operate the machine. We have a crew on the ground that can repair the machine. And when the part spoil, they can fix the part. Those boys are the Liberian youth are very smart. You know, they will take the part and and fabricate the part, bring it back and put it in the machine, and the machine work. So we have our little machine that we're using. We have our own warehouse. We have our team that do all the printing of the bags and everything. So it make it easier for us. Farming requires planning. When you get into farming, make sure you know about this business. Agribusiness is something you have to study. It's not something you just get. So a lot of Liberians, started with me. But today they will come and say, Andrew, how is it that you in America, you are not in Liberia, and the farms are going well, but we are on the ground and our farm, we don't know what to do. So I said, the time you guys were doing something, it took me 30 years, more than 30 years to learn about farming. I put my whole life into it. I started from Liberia. I came to the US and put more than 25 years into farming in the US. So when it comes to the knowledge, it comes to the business aspect, I have everything combined. And that's why I'm able to do these things in Liberia, even in my accent, you see. So farming requires a lot of planning. It requires a lot of strategy. If you don't have the right strategy, that's the main thing. And thank God, that's the part that God gave me, planning and to formulate your own strategy of how to implement. That's what our people don't have in Liberia. You have people, working at the agriculture ministry. You have people from agriculture, graduate with agriculture degree. They have all the theory, but how to implement, it requires skill, experience.
Now, I was in Louisiana and I was looking at some of the things that they grow there, and I saw a lot of the stuff that you do. And I'm
Yeah,
hoping that at some point you're going to replicate that to Liberia. What
that's what I was.
besides rice, I see you doing a lot. What are some of the things that you are growing or that you foresee that will grow? Because we talk about diversifying our diet. We just don't want to just live on rice. What are some of the things that you are growing besides rice?
Thank you very much.
Then I'll go to Mr. Gallagher.
Thank you very much. Jerome, look, when I came to the US, I brought our plants, our edos, the red edo, the white edo, the kettle, the bitter ball, the water green, the cassava, all our plants I brought in here and conduct experiment on them for 17 years. 17 years I conducted experiment on our plant. And I used to come live, and then people watch me. I'll be explaining to them how these plants grow. And the purpose for which I did that, because I know rice is not the only food. We need edibles. We need yam. I can go right now with live, but I can go now and show you the yam that I'm growing here in the US. I'm growing yam from Liberia here in the US. I'm growing edibles from Liberia here in the US. All our food we eat there, I eat it here. I grow them here. You see? So I brought this plants here to study about them so that when I go back to Liberia, we can start to grow our own food. We'll grow yam, we'll grow plantain, we'll grow edible, we'll grow cassava. All our food, so that we're not eat only rice. The people have different kind of food to eat. Pepper, tomatoes, onions. You saw in Liberia the kind of onions I'm growing in Liberia. The people say that onion can grow in Liberia. So I said the people don't know what they are doing, what they are saying. You see, Gilmore, this is a lie that the people usually tell our people. They said that they told the people that the soil is not good to grow onion. The soil is not good to grow rice. The soil is not good to grow apple. The soil is not good to grow this. But Gilmore, here today, I want the Liberian people to know that everything they've been telling them are all lies. They are all lies. Let me tell you the work of the soil. The soil has only two functions. And the main function of the soil is to keep the plant erect. Let me put it in our Liberian English. The main function of the soil is to make sure the plant roots grow in the ground so the plant can stand up and grow up to reach the sunlight. That's the function of the soil. That's all the soil does. So when someone tells you that the soil is not good, the person is lying to you. They don't know what they are saying. Because there is nothing called good soil or bad soil. There is nothing in the world called good soil and bad soil. Nothing. There's nothing called good soil. There's nothing called bad soil. There are only two kinds of soil. There's a soil that is nutrient dense. We may have the fertilizer in it, have the nutrient in it. And then there's a soil that is nutrient depleted, which means there's no nutrient in the soil. You have to put the nutrient in the soil. So when someone tells you that the soil is not, Liberia soil is not good to grow rice, it's a lie. When they tell you that Liberia soil is not good to grow onion, it's a lie. Because the work of the soil is to only hold the plant in the ground so that the plant can grow up to reach the sunlight to produce. What the plant need to grow, you have to know the kind of plant that you are planting, the need of the plant, and you add it to the soil. And the work of the soil now is to hold the fertilizer, the nutrients that you place in the soil, the water that you place in the soil, to be available to the plant so that the plant can grow. So when someone tell you, today I want Liberian to know, anytime someone tell you that the soil Liberia is not good, it's pure lie. I challenge anybody from China, from Japan, from Europe, from United States, anyone can come on the show and challenge me. No human being under the sun can challenge what I'm saying. Because what I'm saying is absolutely true. There is no bad soil or good soil. There's only soil that have nutrients in it, and there's soil that the nutrients are depleted, and you have to add nutrients for the plant to grow. So when anybody tell you Liberia soil is not good to grow rice, how they can tell you that Liberia soil is not good to grow rice, but our Armstrong is growing the rice every month in Liberia for 3 years straight. 3 years straight, I'm growing rice every month. If the soil is not good, why it is good for me? Do you know what farmers in Liberia will have family farm? And that farm will stay in the family for decades. And they'll use that same farm over and over. It is because what plant need are nutrients. Nutrients can be added to soil. The work of the soil is to hold up the plant to reach to the sun, to receive the sunlight. You make the soil what you want it to be. There is no bad soil or good soil. You make the soil what you want it to be.
Excellent.
So you see, okay.
Excellent. I'm coming back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is on point. We are not talking politics today. We are not here to curse and curse the president or curse the opposition and curse. We are talking about what can we do to make the country self-sufficient in food. Whether it is George Weah, Joseph Boyka, Alice Comey, Armstrong Jabba president, Galakpa Gaiman, we will need food. It doesn't matter who is president in Liberia.
Right.
We've been talking about we are not producing enough food. So we are asking you, do us a favor, share the show with your network, share the show on your platform. Let us come over here. And if you have any addition to what we are talking about, we want to know if you are growing rice, if you are growing food. This is the platform today for you to come and ask your question, bring your suggestion, and let's go for the Mr. Galakbai. When
Yes.
I look through your stuff, I see you doing a little bit of everything, starting small and eventually it's going to grow. I see you got some expertise in animal husbandry. You got cocoa going. You got oil palm. You got vegetables. You got rice. You're doing everything as a small farmer. You're doing everything. Talk to me a little bit about animals. What is it that you do with the animals? What do you suggest? I saw you got great partnership across the creek in Guinea, where you got people there, they got goat, they got pig, they got chicken and everything else. But you decided if we want to do, we should start with goat and stay away from the other one because they are expensive to keep. Talk to me about the variety of things you are doing.
Yes, thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Gilman. Let me just make you to understand that our country, Liberia, is very blessed in the sense that the resources, the natural resources in Liberia here, we have to, that God bless, or we have to utilize it, you understand? Well, when it comes to livestock, there are some animals that have less expensive. Like when it comes to goat have little spending and have more profit making. Because for the goat, you cannot spend much money on the goat. For instance, you plant your cassava, right? The cassava grow at the backyard. You grow your cassava, the leaf of the cassava, the goat can eat that cassava leaf. The goat can eat the cassava itself and survive and be healthy. You understand? So you don't have to use other Western food stuff to feed that particular goat way before you know. That alone, you will be spending little and you will be getting much profit at the end of the year or at the end of every month. And when you look at it as well, when it comes to goat farming, you see that in Liberia, many of the time people have a program. Like some people having their wedding program, some people having their graduation program. You know, when they are having those programs, sometimes people will order the goat for you. And in that light, in demand in the market. So the marketing of the goat will be more easier because more people are in demand of it. You understand? So for that, if you get into goat raising or goat farming, you will spend less and then get more money. And the marketing system is also easy to go. You understand? So when it comes to the rest aspect, right? When we come to the rest aspect, like veteran agriculture just stated that Liberia, it is false. It is not true that we should believe that rice cannot grow in Liberia. People are only trying to use the analysis to make us to be where we are, to make us to be at this point. We should not move further. The soil in Liberia is more fertilized than the soil in India. The soil in Liberia is more fertilized than the soil in China. Reason being is the soil we have here, we are not applying any chemical on the soil. All of the rest that we are producing here, we are not applying chemical. And we have good climate condition in Liberia to grow rice. We have the manpower. We have good soil, right? We have good soil to grow the rice. So that make us so unique and that make us blessed as Liberians when it comes to rice farming. So for what people will say that rice cannot grow in Liberia, it's just something to make us forget about it and continue to depend on those importers. That is to depend on China, to depend on India, those rice that they are importing to us, we should rely on them. Like recently, when we saw it in the market, the entire country went down without rest. Because those are ideas those are wrongful ideas that they have been given to us that rice cannot grow in Liberia. You cannot grow huge quantities of rice in Liberia to feed the entire country. And because of that saying, many Liberians have now deviated from growing rice to join into politics. So you see, so this is the strategy. Business people got strategy. If you are not smart enough, they will give you the wrong idea, and you go with the wrong idea, and then make a lot of million of dollar, billion of dollar out of you. So this is some of the point that we are telling Liberian people that it is far from the truth that rice cannot grow in Liberia. Rice grow here, our soil is fertilized. If we can get into mechanized farming, definitely we'll be able to feed ourselves. Importation of rice in our country will be able to minimize, it will be able to come to the lower level.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Java, we were talking in America here. They got something called partnership. In Liberia, we got a wrong partnership against the Liberian. We have the Indians and the Lebanese and the Syrian. They have their own partnership. They get together, like we used to say, you go in the zoo bush and you plan. How can we keep these people down? How do we stop them from growing? And they have done it very well. The Lebanese and the Indians and the Syrian, they have locked down the rice importation in Liberia by bribing officials, by giving cuts, backdoor deals, bribery, you name it. There are some rumors out here that every Liberian president get like $1 or so of every bag of rice that come in the country. The finance minister gets some here. The commerce minister gets. Now we don't have any proof, but these are things we've been hearing since Tottenham time, and it continues. For some of us who are suspicious, for a country this big and that much soil, and for some reason we can't grow our own food, it clicked to the back of our mind that there got to be some truth to this. To stop this, you guys are growing. Do you have any kind of cooperation, partnership? Let's say you, Mr. Galakpai, Mr. JJ, you guys are the three people whose name comes up the top of the food chain when it comes to growing. Do you have some partnership, sharing ideas, working together to make sure that when he succeeds, you succeed, that you guys can work together, make sure that this thing become true?
Thank you very much. But before I address that question, just give me 1 or 2 minutes. Let me complete what I was saying.
Please go ahead.
Concerning our soil. So you see, my brother Jerome, the business people, the foreign business people in Liberia have worked with officials in government to deceive our people for so long. You see, they tell our people the first thing was our soil is not good to grow food, to grow rice, to grow onion, to grow this, and they just input those things. Now, the next thing, you know what? The soil is a little bit good, but the soil, because of 6 months of rain, there is too much iron in the soil. So because there is so much iron in the soil in Liberia, so it is not good to grow rice. They bring another one again. But I'm here to tell the Liberian people, high concentration of iron in soil is something that you can fix within 1 or 2 hours. I can fix it. Give me any soil with iron in it, I can fix it in 1 hour. Only 1 hour. It will take me only 1 hour to correct it. You see, so they tell our people all these lies just to continue to input. And when it comes to what you just said about people in government get share from the rest importers, that is 100% true. That's not a rumor. That's 100% true. And that's why they don't invest in the local farmers to be able to grow the food, because what they're getting from the rest importers, it's huge, millions of dollars. So what will you do as government official? You receive millions for importation, right? Where you want to grow the rest in the country, you want to fill your pocket. So that's the truth. That's one of the major reasons why we are not growing our food in Liberia. The main reason for which we are not growing our food in Liberia is because people in government are receiving cuts from the importation of rice. Now, let me address the issue that you just mentioned concerning partnership, concerning putting, the corporation. I established the best corporation ever in Liberian history called Aquaculture Liberia Industry. bringing Liberians together from all 15 counties so that we can come together and work together to grow our own food in all 15 counties. That's why you see me sending my men out. Well, we get our team in Sano County as I speak. We got team in Grand Crew County as I speak. We got a team in Ribaji County as I speak. We got a team in Grand Jide County as I speak. We got a team in Grand Bassa County. We are covering the whole country, making sure that we can grow our own food, all 15 counties. There is some, not just rice, but our own food, so that we can create export, to start to export our food to other parts of the world, to turn young Liberians into millionaires by selling Liberian produce to the rest of the world. So again, this month, I'm writing, you see on my table here, you see papers. I'm writing, putting together the document. I'm about to start another organization to bring all Liberian farmers in the country under one umbrella. And this organization will be called the Union of Liberian Agripreneurs. You know, when you say farmer, come and be farmer, when you tell the youth come to be farmer, you know, it's, oh, that's for poor people. So I want to change the whole thing. Instead of saying farmer, we're going to say the Union of Liberian Agripreneur. You see, that's the union. So now you are a businessman. So we're taking farming from just farming to business. So when we introduce it to the young people as a business, they will get involved. So that's what I'm working on. My son right there, he part of it. Imaya JJ, I talked to Imaya JJ. I talked to Joseph. All the guys in Liberia, I'm bringing them on one umbrella, where now we can turn farming into business.
We have here one of the permanent daughters of Grand Bassa counties, my own sister, Mayida Gare. Mayida has a lot of influence in my belt, in my part of the Bassa belt, number 3 district. Her father, Bassa Gare, has a lot of land, and they have access to a lot of land. And I overheard her one time saying that she was going to partner with you to make land available. How far has that gone?
She gave me 1,300 acres in Grand Bassa County. She gave it to me. And we have 20 men on the ground right now in Grand Bassa getting prepared. We're going to start the first rice farm in Grand Bassa County. So she kept her promise. She gave me the land.
Great. Those of you who are not familiar with Mayida Gare, she is no joke, no nonsense person. She carefully picks her friends and associations. Yep. So when I overheard, I knew what was going to happen, and we are happy. Now, talk to me about the protein part of the rice. We are talking about food now. We're talking about the protein part. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? I know you can't do all at the same time. Yeah. But what will you do? I know he addressed it, the goat mm-hmm. and all of that. What are you doing for protein? When I was in Mississippi, and then I went to visit you guys, and I went to Mississippi, I saw all the fish farm, catfish farm, tilapia farm.
We got them here.
Yeah, they do all of that to take care of the protein. Now tell me, what do you have in mind? What are you doing? Or what do you have in mind for protein?
As I speak to you right now, our boys in Maryland County are growing the fish integrated farming, are growing the fish with the rice in Maryland. They are experimenting. My man Nat is there experimenting with the fish and the rice growing together in Maryland County. There is something we want to introduce to all part everywhere in the country, where we growing the rice. At the same time, you harvest the rice. At the same time, you're taking your fish to the market to make money. In Louisiana here, we grow the rice with fish and crawfish. We also put the crawfish in the rice. You don't have to feed the crawfish. The crawfish grow among the rice. After harvesting the rice, we go there and sell the crawfish. You see, so these are the kind of practices I want to bring to Liberia. And also another thing, we're going to start next year. We're going to build the chicken poultry over the rice farm. Chicken poultry. We'll build the chicken poultry over the rice farm, so that the waste from the chicken can fall into the water to fertilize the rice, and also for the fish to have something to eat. At the same time, we are raising chicken that we can sell to the market. So at one location, you are growing rice, you are raising fish, You are raising chicken and crawfish, the same location. You have all at the same place. So these are the kind of practices we learn in Louisiana here. I want to take back home to our people in Liberia so that we can be able to have fish to eat, crawfish to eat, chicken to eat, and what have you. When it comes to the goat and the cow and the pigs and other things, these are things that we're going to do in maybe 3 to 4 years down the line. But we want to involve all that. But we're starting with rice first. We want to kill this rice problem, get rid of it in 3 years' time, and then we can get to chicken, goat, cow, and all the kind of stuff.
Mr. Gallopay, have you contacted Mr. Jagba so we can do, let's say, a cross training, taking your folks from where you are, or contacting him for him to bring some of his expertise as expert in your area, so you can see how they are doing it, so we can share knowledge to make sure that we sustain ourselves. So you can share your difficulties, your obstacles, and all of that.
Yes, I'm not getting you.
Okay, I'm talking about, have you built network with Mr. Jabba that you can send some of his experts, people who are working on his farm, doing what they are doing, to come to you in Lofa, look at what you are doing right, what are suggestions to be made. You send some of your folks to work with him in Maryland or in Nimba to see how to do that, so you can share knowledge and share experiences. Have you done that?
No, when it comes to Haitian agriculture, answering no. But when it comes to others, I have done that. You understand? When it comes to this agro business, it's not only about me, and it is not only about answering. You understand? It's about Liberians as a whole. So we are not just doing this to make money, to make ourselves rich. No, we are doing it to see how best our country economy can be, our country economy can boom, and also our country will be able to feed herself. Those are things that we are doing. So if I see anyone who are into agribusiness, who oppose myself, I'm into it, I also gave them a little idea, like you. I was surprised that Mr. Gave me had over 2,000 acres of land planted with cocoa and other vegetables on your farm. So when I went on your farm, I was like, wow. So you see, and when I went there, I saw the place. I was so excited to see that Liberians are now thinking of going back to the soil. You understand? And also, when it comes to Minister Mange, I visited Minister Mange farm in Bapur County. When I went there, there were some challenges and difficulties. I gave them a little idea. And the idea which I gave them today, the idea is yielding fruit. And most of the time when I have communication with them, they always say to me, their things are going on well. You understand? And I have been to Nima County, to others, agro entrepreneurs, farmers. So this is not only about Galakpa, it's about the betterment of our country. And that will only be done through you, Mr. Gayman, Armstrong, and myself, and entire Liberians. So you understand? So if I see anyone who is believing in agribusiness like me, definitely we work together as a team. You understand? Armstrong and myself have been talking. I was linked with Armstrong by one sister of mine, they call her Courage. And from that time, Armstrong and myself have been having conversations. Sometimes when he posts some of his things, sometimes I share it. Because that's how we support each other. And what I can say to you now is, we that are coming into this agriculture stuff, we don't jealous one another. The fact that is, the work I'm doing, you are doing the same job, we work together. The little idea I have, I share with you. The little idea you have, you share with me. Because no one has monopoly over knowledge. No one has monopoly over knowledge. So if you come on a field, you either you know plenty, definitely you will not achieve the goal that you want. And this is what I can say to people. I'm open to anyone who want to do agriculture and then does not have the land capacity, but wanting to get involved into it, I can talk to my people in Lofa. They will be able to give the person piece of land to get involved into it. Those are encouragement that we are giving to the people. You understand? Those are encouragement that we are giving to people who want it, because there are people who will come and say, I want to get into agriculture, but then I don't have a land space. I don't have the land. So we are trying to erase many of those mindset and give the people the opportunity. We give them the opportunity if whether they are waiting to get involved into it. So when it comes to answering myself, I've been talking behind closed door, and we have the same vision. So that vision is to make our country food secure. So we're working together. And others Liberian, like you, Mr. Gayman, we have been working together before even I even visited your farm in Grand Baza. So you see, these are things that we are doing. It's not just about money.
Great. Ms. Armstrong, now,
Yeah.
now we're coming to the meat of this show. How much do you need to make your dream come true? Not 100%, but what are your immediate needs?
No.
Thank you very much. What I really need right now is for my land to my 20,000 acre in Maryland County to be clear. That's what I need. If that land is clear, my brother, I can promise you, we're gonna have a lot of rice on the market.
So
Okay.
what is it? What machines do you need? What's
Yellow
about
machine,
what's about warehousing?
yellow
What's
machine,
about the rice mill? What's about all of these things? How?
yellow machine is the main thing. When you have the yellow machine to clear the land, now we can even make our deck break and build our own warehouses there. It's not difficult to do. We got the clay in Liberia. We can use the clay brick and build our own warehouses. And you see how the warehouses are in Louisiana, in America. You go on the farm, you see the warehouse that just like the same thing we have in Liberia, design over it. You see, but the main thing is to clear the land. If you have the land clear, you have modern rest mill. You have two good power, the 90 some horsepower, two good power tiller with the various implements, and then you have two good combine. My brother, that's it. That's something to start with. That's something to start with. We can build upon that. The rest we're going to sell. You will be able to buy the rest of the equipment and stuff that we need. But the main thing is for that land to be clear.
Okay, you say yellow machine for some of us who see everything that pass by that painted yellow machine. What are the particular yellow machine that you want?
The yellow machine talking about the yellow machine that I used to grade the road, to clear to break those stones, to level up the road. The yellow machine I used to clear forests, to clear bushes, to dig those palm trees and everything, dig those storms. That's the kind of machine we're talking about. The machine that will come in and just clear the land. And then we don't have hard work to do. We just bring. You see, you need tractors. You need tractors to grow food. But before the tractor can come in to plow the soil, you must have the yellow machine to come in to remove all the storms. You see, the yellow machine is first to remove all the storm and everything. Then before you bring in the tractor to plow the soil before you start to plant. So the yellow machine is the key. If we got the yellow machine everywhere in Liberia, you see. So if we can clear that land, we can be able to grow food. I'm going to Sano County for 50,000 acres. River G County, we are engaged in 25,000 acres. Grand Gila County, 20,000 acres. My target is 100,000 acres of land. Once I hit that 100,000 acre, I will keep pushing until I hit the 100,000 acre. When I hit that 100,000 acre, we can clear that 100,000 acres. Our rice problem is solved.
So
We need 100,000 acres.
good, Mr. Galakbai. What what
Yeah.
what can the government do to help you?
Okay. You know, it is not only, like I said to you, it's not only about me. is about everyone, right? We have to first treat agriculture as a business. When we start to treat agriculture as a business, we will be heading somewhere, right? And also, a few days ago, I see people trying to politicize red issue in Liberia. I kind of looking at it that maybe these people don't know what is ahead of us. Food security as a whole in the entire world now is something that people are is global issue. It's something that people are fighting on a daily basis in their country to try to put an end to it. But when it comes to Liberia, what we are appealing to the government is the government had to firstly encourage the farmers. You understand? Government had to firstly encourage the farmers. That is
Okay. He has frozen again. Mr. Jaguar,
Yeah.
can you make the commitment that if we make
had to firstly be the
Mm.
if if we make the commitment and the government wants
yeah.
you to meet with the finance minister, the agriculture minister,
Hello.
yeah, 1 minute, Mr. Galakpai. For have you met with the agriculture
Yeah.
minister? Have you
You can
met
hear
with the
me?
yeah, you're going in and out. So I'll come back to you, James. I'll come
You
back to
can
you.
hear, yeah, sorry, someone was trying to call my
I will come.
line.
I will
Yes,
come back.
like I was saying,
Go ahead. Finish your thought. Go ahead,
yes,
James.
I have met the I have met the agriculture minister. I have met a series of government officials who have the upper hand to see how better they can support the Liberia Fields Agriculture Initiative. But the ideas have not been bought by those leaders of this country. But when it comes to advocacy is not just a one-day thing. It's a gradual process.
Okay, Mr. Jaguar,
Right.
you're running a big conglomeration of ideas here. Are you
So
willing
in
to go
that,
on
why
Mr. Galapa, I'm coming back to you. Let me come back to you. Mr. Jabba, are you willing to go on the ground? You got all these men and women on the ground working. You got
cutting
great
off? He's still
ideas,
calling me.
and Liberians are buying into it. But you got to put boots on the ground. You have to be on the ground and be the face and put your face to it and say, this is what we want to do. Because for now, people see you as this guy in cyberspace. He's in America, he pulling strings here, but he doesn't have the skin in the game. He got the ideas and everything, but his skin is not in the game. Are you willing to get on the ground and say, I'm going to take a month or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to just go and see these folks to make sure that they feel me, that they see the numbers, they see what we are doing? Because I am sure if the government put aside $2 million exclusively for what you are doing, for what you are talking about, the machinery, the warehousing, because you got to build silos to keep these rice, the packaging, the rice mills, these things cost money. It costs money. Are you willing to go on the ground to make the case?
Thank you very much. My brother Jerome, look, let me tell you something. This is not my first time I'm going to say this. The other time I said, if I can have the equipment that I need, if the land is clear, if I have a very good rice mill and have tractor and a combine to harvest the rice on the ground in Liberia, I see no reason to live in the United States. There's no reason to live in the US. I don't see any reason to live in the US if I have all those things on the ground to go and be.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like okay. Go ahead, sir. Go
Okay,
ahead.
okay.
You go in and
Thank you.
out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody called the people whenever you on the show. That's when they try to call you. So what I'm saying
Yeah.
here is that Mr. Jerome, I've been in the U.S. for decades. I live in America. I enjoy America. I don't have no reason of being in America when I have those things on the ground that I need to grow food for my country, to help my people. If my land is clear and I have the equipment and stuff that I need, I pack my things, I gone. I'm gone. I have nothing to do here. Here in America, they have so many people who are growing food for the country. We need people like us in Liberia too, who will go there and be able to take the youth off the street and start to take them to the various counties and to put them to work to grow food for the country. So the only reason, let me tell you why I'm staying here in the US. The reason I'm in the US is to set the foundation of the corporation in Liberia. Set the foundation, train the workers. I did that. I got a student from the University of Liberia, from Cotton University. I sent my team to Maryland County, Tottenham University in Maryland County. I got students, I trained them for up to 7 years. I have a well solid team on the ground to grow food. I went after land, negotiated for land. I was able to get the land I need. I'm at the stage where I need the equipment, I need the land clear, and now I pack my things and go to Liberia. So these are things I'm doing on my own and lobbying around to see how I can buy the equipment on my own to ship them to Liberia. The few days I've been traveling, trying to see how I can get the equipment to Liberia to be able to move back to Liberia and start to grow food for my country. So that's the stage at which I'm in right now. I'm looking for equipment to move back to my country. That's what I'm doing now. I don't have no reason of being in the US. I've lived my life here. It's time to go home. I don't want to be old to go. I want to be young to go to be able to teach the youth.
Yeah, but Mr. Jawad, you
Yeah.
know, there's a system on the ground everywhere you go, even in the United States.
Yeah.
We have the investment commission. You have to be on the ground to find out what incentives the government have for people like you,
Mhm.
farmers or business folks. You like me, the young man just talked about my farm that I have there.
Mhm.
I had to go home on the ground to do a lot of legwork and then put people together and leave them in charge. And then I go every year. For the big dream you have to go on the ground and see what is it that the government have incentives. They have
Mhm.
equipment. But to whom are they entrusting these things to? So sometimes it pays that you make a trip to
Mhm.
Liberia and you go to these meetings, let them put the name to face a person that is responsible for these great ideas. He is responsible. This is what he needs. And there are things that are on the ground. I can assure you, I know this for the fact that if
Mhm.
you go on the ground and you meet with the requisite department, Ministry of Finance and Commerce and the Investment Commission, because when I took some friends, I didn't know this. We went to the Investment Commission and they gave us a packet and they
Mhm.
give you all the incentives, tax breaks, everything. And when you meet with them, you'll be quite surprised as to what is in there for you. And there are a lot of other farmers on the ground that are doing something similar with whom you can talk. I know very well one lady that helped me. Her name is Jasia Buffett.
Mhm.
Buffett. She needs to be a writer, and she's doing a small farm in Bomi. When I went, she saw what I was doing. She said, "Wow, I can help you." It's lots of connection. And in 3 weeks, I was there with her. I had so much going, so much happening. So this is what I'm saying. You got great ideas. Everybody supports what you do, but
Mhm.
you are a fathom. You in cyberspace. Nobody. I was surprised when I went to Liberia. Everybody heard the name, but they don't know who this person is. They think Armstrong Java is just a corporation. They didn't. Some people don't really know that you are an actual human being. So you have to get on the ground to even if it's a week or two. Meet with the finance minister, meet with the commerce minister, meet with the investment commission. What is it that I have that I can use here to realize my dream? All of these things are possible. Even in Grand Bassa County, where you are talking about, Mayeregia has a lot of connection there. I know our Senator Nyomli Kanga would be glad to get involved. Politicians love success. Anything that works, they want to tag into it, and God bless them. That's what they're supposed to do. But you too are supposed to use that and to the advantage. If you are creating jobs in Grand Bassa County, all the politicians will hang on to you because that's what we want. The president of Liberia wants job employment. They want employment for the young folks. So anyone who comes and says, this is the plan, I'm going to hire 500 folks. This is what I need. I need a little help. With the help from the private sector, we got no problem. Mr. Java, I have to challenge you. You have to go on the ground. If you're ready to go, I will President go with you.
Okay, well, you didn't understand what I just said. You didn't understand me, Mr.
No, I'm not asking you to move home. That's not what I'm asking.
Listen. Let me say this. Maybe you didn't understand what I was saying. Brother Jerome, when I started this in Liberia, the first thing I did was put together a plan of how to implement this. The first thing on the plan was to register the business. When the business is registered, the next thing I went to Cottington University, got student, the University of Liberia, got student, Tubman University in Maryland County, and got student, and trained them to do the work, to make sure that I have a team on the ground to do the work. Because my goal is to leave the US and go back to live back home. But I don't want to go home without having nothing on the ground. I want to make sure when I hit the ground, I'm working. I don't believe in I like to do things fast.
Mr. I don't Jama, with all due respect, when was the last time you were in Liberia?
Let me complete what I'm saying.
Okay.
Let me complete what I'm saying. I like to get things done. I want to do things fast. I don't believe in dragging and stuff. So before I do anything, I make sure I plan well. So I got the team together, trained them, they are ready now, and we conduct a lot of pilot projects to make sure that they have the experience. After that, I said, okay, my team is ready. It is time for me to go out to negotiate for land. So I went to Maryland County and got 20,000 acres. I got the 1,300 acres from how they call the place, Grand Bassa, and I sent my men to Sano to negotiate for 50,000 acres. Grand Crew, Grand Jide, River G, my guys are there to negotiate for land. All I'm doing here is getting the land, and while my guys are on the ground in Liberia getting land, as I speak to you today, my guys are just for a meeting with the people in Nima County to get for more land for us to grow red. The meeting was successful today. They called me today and told me, say, Brother Armstrong, the meeting is successful. The people are happy to welcome you in the village. They're ready to give you the entire land. So I'm thankful to God for that. So what I'm doing now in the US is traveling, trying to get equipment and stuff to ship them to Liberia. And then by January, I move back to my country. And when I hit the ground, I clear my container, take them to the farm and start work. Now, the government they are already seeing my work. People have seen my work. You see, now, if the government want to help us, the farmers, it shouldn't be Armstrong. If the government want a program that they can use to help the farmers to produce more food, I can develop it and give it to them. I can write the whole thing and give it to them. Say, this is the best method to use to help the farmer. Let me just explain a little bit of it to you. Now, if the government want to help the farmers in Liberia, my brother, there are equipment rental companies around the world. Equipment rental company around the world. All the people at the agriculture ministry need to do is to send out the team. They can send out a team to Japan. They can send out a team to India. They can send a team to the US. They can send a team to China to negotiate with the equipment rental center to open branches in Liberia in all counties, where we, the farmer now, will be able to rent the equipment to clear our land. This thing is simple. It's simple. It's not difficult. There are equipment rental centers everywhere around the world. All our officials need to do is go and negotiate them to come and open branches in Liberia to make equipment available to we farmers. We can rent it for them and clear our land. This thing we're talking about it's not difficult. It's rocket science.
Okay,
If
ladies
they
and
want me to write
gentlemen,
the
you
whole
are
plan step by step how to do it, I can write it and give it to them. So I'm on my way home. January, I'll be in Liberia. Even when I met the agriculture minister, the finance minister, I met every one of them in Washington, D.C. I told them I already have my plan to come to Liberia in January to carry my small little equipment I have and start work. Why? If you people will help, that's it. But I don't want to go in Liberia and be running from office to office. No, I'm a man who believes in myself. So before I get on the ground, let me be happy my leave 1 or 2 tractor there, small machine there doing my work. The government see my work and say, my man, the kind of work you're doing will help you. I will take the help they give me. But I don't like to depend on people. When I came to the US, my friends, they were going here looking for a job. I went straight downtown Baton Rouge. I raised up my company, the specialist horticulture. I started going out in the neighborhood, start telling people, look, you want to plant your vegetable, call me. You want to make your farm, call me. You want to clear your farm, call me. Before you know it, people start calling me. I have job. I created my own job. Immediately when I came to America, I started cleaning people's farms, started planting people vegetable. And since then, that's all I've been doing for living in America. Working for people. They call me, oh, I'm sure my plant got some insect destroying my plant, I go and spray. My plant got disease, I go there and take care of it. That's how I live in America. I didn't come here going out looking for a job. I created a job for myself and hire white people, hire Mexican, hire Cameroonians, hire Liberians working for me in America. That's how I live. I believe in doing things for myself. So before I get to Liberia, I don't want to go there depending on government. I want to carry my own little equipment with me while I'm working. The government come in and say they will help me, I take it.
Great. Well,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, my question was answered. Mr. Jaba is coming to Liberia January 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So now it is us that support you, that believe in you now, have to collectively make sure that private investors, government officials listen to what you are saying, and that your meetings with them is not just about public relations, but it's about real results. Now let's get down to some of the comments here. Lots of comments. People, people are interested in what you are doing. Obviously, from what I'm reading here, so we put some of the comments up front. We can read them, and if you have questions, you answer them. And also, if you have a telephone number, how can we join what you are doing? Are there partnership? Are there opportunities for people to become members of what you are doing? It is a sole corporation. Are you selling stocks? Can regular people join you to raise money to do what you are doing? So you can be totally independent. So let's get to some of the comments here, and then we'll come back to you later on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On Point, Focus on Liberia's premier show that talks about everything. As usual, Focus on Liberia, we are here to elevate Liberia. Whatever is academically feasible, this is what we're going to do. Now let's go to Vani Donner Sr. This is a good show. I'm listening attentively, and that's a great thing. Winnie Dukley, Galakba Jean Colley is strong. Yeah, you a strong man. We Liberian will forever have you down in history, my brother James. Someone said they hold you down in history. You are a very hardworking young man. That's a good thing. Jesse Woto, we are following you, Mr. Colley. Excellent. Money guy, Armstrong Jabba, Agriculture Liberia, James Colley, feed yourself Liberia. Excellent. Excellent. You got people supporting you here. Winnie Dukley, Galakbai James Colley, our best agriculturist in Liberia. Excellent work. Money guy, your partners are here. CEO Armstrong Jabba. Mr. Jabba, you got some strong supporters out there. We need help clearing the land and equipment, Mr. Gamer. This is what we are talking about. We will amplify this. You're going to get that machine. My own adopted mother, she made sure I was in school in New Jersey, Rutgers University. She made sure I went to school and graduated. The government needs great agriculture as a business. That's correct. Can you bring Mayere Gia's comment back, please, if you can? Okay, Donna, this is so interesting. I love these guys. They are among the finest Lofians that I have seen. Mr. Japa and Galakba, thank you very much. I love you. Man, you're getting a lot of love. Franklin Benazer. Good evening, Focus on Liberia. Focus FM. I'm watching from Lockingtown, Bushra Island, Monroe, Liberia. Thank you very much for watching, my friend. We love Bushra Island. Marvin Duo. I run a livestock project. Can you also take into consideration of the farrowing rate and later seas? Galakba Jim Colley, those are you who are into the thing, he's talking about livestock and stuff like this. This one is beyond me. I don't know what livestock is, but you guys, you'll deal with it. So these are some of the comments. Do it again. We have a lot of opportunities here in the agriculture sector. Obviously, Mr. Jagba, if you take some notes, if there are questions for you so far, no question, all praises. They're just praising you guys for what you do. Yes. This is awesome. The competition is not with us, Liberians, but the importers and us. We need all the hands together. I mean, we discussed that already, what the competition are doing to suppress the market. Denise Coty, Mr. Moderator, you are daydreaming. The Liberian government does not have the political will to allow an ordinary citizen to come and succeed. This person has a point here. The government in the past, they sabotage their own people so they can get money from the Lebanese and the Indians. Listen, Dennis, you are doing well. Steve Walson, government is giving right importer $11 million as subsidy. $2 million is small to start the rice shortage. $2 million could do it, he says. And I want to believe that too. $11 million. Sam Waller, the small farmers in Liberia don't have the income to afford to rent farm equipment from the equipment rental companies. You want to come to Liberia. Thus, those companies cannot be profitable in Liberia and will not come. James Wewer, this is a great show. We only hope government support such initiative to feed ourselves. This is the journalist Jim Akwe. Now in Waterloo, Iowa, where 10% of the food in the United States, across the United States, is produced. This is it. You hear somebody who is in Iowa. We are talking about the farm, the real farm belt of this country. And he knows what he's talking about. So, mister, we need to get in touch with him. This is a great show. We only hope government supports such initiative to feed ourselves. James, this is great. Hopefully you can get in touch with Armstrong. They can come to Iowa, check out some of the method you are using. How can I invest in your company, Mr. Java? This is what we are talking about. Patrick want to know how can they invest. Mr. James, Galakbai, if you have room for extra hands, people want to invest in what you are doing here. So we need the information. You can pass it on to Focus on Liberia, and they can pass it on too. Or when you're done, you have numbers. We'll put it on the screen so they can call you. That's a great one. Let me see here. Mayede has sent us something I wanted us to read her statement. She will kill me if I don't. So let me look for her statement here. She is a strong supporter of what you do. Eva Wada Bori Wule. I am a bit late, but what is the best advice you can give a new farmer that is about to start in Liberia, Mr. Jabba? What is the first thing that a farmer should do when they are starting? And hopefully you can partner with them too, so they can be your understudy. Eva, we are taking down your number. Arthur F. Solo Sr., my dear brother Armstrong, I am live. Okay, there's another livestock farmer, and we really need those equipment rentals. Yes, there you go. He's into livestock. They need equipment of all kinds. Arthur Solo Sr., I think we heard you. We're going to talk about that. We got Sole Kamokai Sr. Is there a difference between rice farm and rice field? Mr. Jabba, that's your area. Is there a difference between rice farm and rice field? Rice farm and rice field. Majiregia wants to know what are the ministers doing? All the ministers, Minister of Finance, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Commerce, what are they doing with that $11 million instead of helping and investing in our local food? Where is the $11 million going? Who are they going to? Maybe we need to now start talking to our legislative bodies, our congressmen and women. Let them tell us what happened to the $11 million. Our CEO, Armstrong, will not be president. He is only doing agriculture for us. So for those of you who thinking that Armstrong is trying to get big so he can come and be president, that is not it. Armstrong's job is to make money, make Liberia self-sufficient, and a little bit to realize on his return on his investment. He has no interest. So if you are a minister or government official and you're holding him down because you think when you empower him, the next thing you want to do is run for president, that is not it here. These folks are genuine, they are serious, and this is where we are. So Mr. Armstrong Jabba, we are running out of time. We got 15 more minutes here. The questions you have, first of all, tell us what's the difference between rice farm and rice field? Is it just the technology or terminology or what? What's the difference?
Thank you very much. We have 3 questions here. Let me answer all 3 of them quick in 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay. You talk about the rice field and the rice farm. That's the same. You can call it a rice field or you can call it a rice farm. Then advice to those who want to start new farms, make sure that you have the knowledge. You don't wake up and just get into something. Make sure that if you don't have the knowledge, ask people who have the knowledge and experience to help you. If you don't do that, you're going to waste your money. And then we jump to the equipment. There was somebody who said that the farmers in Liberia cannot afford to rent the equipment. We know what we are saying here. The farmers can afford to rent the equipment. Based on the kind of equipment and the light equipment that you can bring to the country for people who want to make little farms and stuff. Those are all who want to make the big farms. We can afford to rent the big equipment. So Liberian farmers can rent the equipment. The little guy can rent a little a power tiller. He can rent it. It's easy. It's not difficult. We the big guys can be able to rent a tractor, or we can rent a yellow machine. We can do it. It's not difficult. Liberians can do it. So those who are saying that the farmers in Liberia cannot afford to rent the equipment, that's not true. The people will be too happy to have the equipment on the ground. They will be willing to rent the equipment because they are not expensive to rent.
Mr. Galapai, we got 15 more minutes here. How do you store your produce, your rice, and those things that you have? We got 15 more minutes here. We'll be done in a few. Tell me, how do you store your rice? Mr. Jabak, you can answer that. What do you do about storage?
We have our warehouse. Usually when we harvest the rice, we trash the rice and put it on the sun. The rest dry, we put it in bags and stack them up in the warehouse until it is time for milling the rice. So we have storage where we store our rice.
So do you when you harvest the rice,
you trash the rice. Trashing the rice means that you take it from the straw,
right?
And the grain of rice,
right?
The trash will remove them, okay. And then you place it under the sun, and then when the rest is dry, you put them in they call the bag. They call it balawala bag. That's how the children can call it. When they call me, they say, "But we put the rest in the balawala bag."
Okay.
So they put the rest in the big balawala bags, and then they stack them in the warehouse until it is time for milling.
Do you have a mill? How do you mill? And then after you mill it, how do you process? How do you bag them?
We have a mill, and we have a team that operate the mill, and we have a team that fix the mill when anything spoiled. Then we have the team that responsible for sewing the bags. Then we have another team responsible for printing the bags. So we do the printing in Monrovia. All the printing is done in Monrovia and shipped to Nima County. And then the boys in Nima County will have the sewing machine. And then the guys that operate the mill will make sure the rest is clean. If the rest is not clean, they put the rest back in the mill to make sure it's totally clean. And then we have the ladies there who will be, bagging the rice, and the boys are sewing the rice, and then we take the rest to the market.
So how do you transport your food from Nima to Bassa, to Cape Palmas, to Monrovia, to Bomi? What's the logistic like?
We have our own truck. That's what make it easy for us.
Okay.
So we can transport the rice on our own. We don't rent trucks and stuff. So for those farmers who are renting truck, it costs a lot. You won't make no money. If you have your own truck, it will help you. It will help you a bit.
So where, for instance,
so all these things, then you have to look.
Where in Buchanan do you have a warehouse? Or if my nephew wanted to buy rice, and we don't want to go to the Lebanese anymore, we want to patronize our own Liberian. Do you have a station in Bassa now where we can purchase rice, or it's in the future?
No, we don't have a station right now in Bassa. We're going to have one next year. We have a station in Monrovia. We have a station in Nima. We have a station in Maryland. But we're going and how they call the other place, Bon County. But we're going to have one in Bassa soon. Next year when we're starting the rice farm in Bassa next year.
Excellent. Mr. Galakman, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the people of Grand Bassa give for a storage facility.
Okay, great. Mr. Galakman, your closing thoughts, and anything else you wanted to discuss.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for this unique program. This is why, like you asked the question, the job we do is to buttress the efforts of the government, right? In doing that, we also need the support of the government. If the government can support us, we will be able to help our Liberian brothers out there, you understand? And more especially those that we call Zogos, right? We will be able to take some of those guys, they have the strength, they have the energy. We can take them and carry them on our farm, they work, and then we pay them. And when we start to use them to look for $5 for themselves, sometimes the crime rates will now be able to decrease. And what I have to say here is Liberia have to get more involved into mechanized farming, in a sense that because China will not continue to supply Liberia with huge quantities of rice anymore. India will not continue to supply Liberia with huge quantities of rice. So we ourselves, the soils that we have here, that it is rich, and we have the manpower, we have more young people in this country that are moved, they are encouraged, they are waiting to get into the agriculture sector. So we have to treat agriculture as a business. When we start to treat agriculture that way, right, the same way we preach our political messages, we should be able to preach the message of agriculture. And we start to preach the message of agriculture in that form, definitely will be getting somewhere. And Liberia Fuels Agriculture Initiative is also challenged when it comes to transportation aspect, when it comes to equipment, that is farming tools, we are challenged. Like we don't have our own rice mill, we don't have, when it comes to transportation, we don't even have a picker to transport our produce in other part of the country. So that when we produce, we have to
the Liberia is really challenged when it comes to communication, as you can see. So, Mr. Jabba, your closing statement.
Thank you very much, my brother Jerome. Thank you for having us on your show today. Jerome, let me say this to you. The legacy of President Weah will be to help Liberian farmers to be able to produce their own food. And that's how he'll be remembered. He can build roads and marketplaces.
So like I was saying, if we start to treat agriculture in that form, then we will be getting somewhere, right? A government can support Armstrong and myself, right? We will be able to bring other young people on board. And the young people are waiting. The young people are waiting to get involved because when I get on my projects in Lofa, many of the time the young people are there, the young people are looking for a job, even in the agriculture sector. The agriculture sector alone can employ over 1 million Liberians. Because if we start to invest hugely in agriculture, we'll be able to solve some of those job issue in this country, the burden on government. So for that reason, government has to see reason to support us. And also government should be able also to declare agriculture as a national emergency where we will have a farmer day. When we have a farmer day, at the end of every harvesting years, the best producer of the year should be given an award, like giving a prize, like giving a car pickup, be given a power tiller, be given yellow machine to budget their effort. If we start to do it that way, many people will be able to get involved into it. Those are some of the recommendations that we are making to government. But if you look at it also, I can say to you, it is possible China can, if China really wants to make Liberia's food secure, it can happen. But you know the reason they will not do it? Because they don't want us to be, they always want us to depend on them. So when we are depending on China, when it comes to food, when it comes to mostly our staple food that is rice, that alone they will be able to make a lot of millions of dollars. Like the 25 millions that the government is giving to importers, giving them 14 million, giving it $11 million USD. To stabilize the rice, right? That money can be given to rice producer in Liberia. You understand? Like for instance, again, like for the 15 million, they just gave each country 1 million, each country 1 million. So for those who are into rice, because like the rice is our staple food, we firstly target rice. And we start to do it that way. Definitely, Mr. Gayman, I can say to you, you will see there will be competition and you will see many young people in this country getting more involved. That's how we should be able to treat agriculture rather than, using the political jargon, just saying it on paper. No. Saying it on paper have passed. We have to get involved, put our hand on the table.
Thank you very much.
If we put our hand on the table, definitely we'll be getting somewhere.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jabba, your closing statement, please.
Thank you very much again, my brother Jerome. I just want to thank my son, Collie, for being on the show tonight with us. And I admire him a lot. One of the young men in Liberia that I encourage. Because I see his work and I love his work. JJ and Josie, for all the boys, and they will call me and I talk to them, encourage them that there is something that we can do. And I said this, and I will say it. The legacy of President Weah will be how he support local farmers to produce food for Liberia. And that's how President Weah will be remembered. He can build the roads and playground and all the other things. But President Weah will be remembered as the president who produced food for his country. If he invests in agriculture, empower the local farmer, that will be his legacy. Mr. Gilmer, I usually call you Mr. Gilmer. Yeah, that's Gilmer. Yeah. Sometimes I remember my other man Gilmer.
That's right.
I call you Jerome. I call the other man Gilmer. So my brother Jerome, let me tell you something. For the past few years, I've been telling Liberians that a few years from now, China won't be able to supply our food. India won't be able to supply our food. All these people look to for food, they won't be able. In the next 5 years, they won't be able. The population increasing, and then the other call global warming is taking place, and you see what's happening around the world. Look at the ice right by Russia. There, everything melt to water. You see what is happening. You see what's happening in America. Look at our river, the Mississippi. People are now walking on dry land. Mississippi River, people are now walking on dry land. You see, all these things are happening, and I've been warning our government that if we cannot grow our own food, we got short time. If we cannot double up to grow our own food, China won't be able to supply us. India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. You saw what happened in Pakistan. The flood. It damaged the rest field. You see the war in Ukraine is escalating. We don't know. It could turn to World War III and there will be no ship to bring us food. We got to be smart. We got to think ahead. And that's why I keep telling the government that we got to hurry up and invest in local production. If we don't do that, it will be late for us. In the next 5 years, it's going to be late. We got to do it. And that's why you told me, say, Andrew, look, you need to come home. I have my plan of coming home. But and my brother Jerome, let me tell you something. You can't depend on Liberians. I live in the US for decades. I live in the South. I went to all white college. All my friends, Adam, and all the guys and all my friends are white boys. I live in the South. I think like they think. It's the same kind of mindset I have. I came from Liberia with a Liberian mentality, but when I live here for more than 2 decades plus, everything gone. I think just like the people that live in the South. That's my thinking. You want to do something, roll up your sleeve and do it yourself. That's how we do. That's how we do things in the South. We don't depend on people. And Liberians are not committed people that you can depend on. Say, I'm going to Liberia, the government will help me with this, the government will help. You can't depend on that because I understand our people. They can say things, but they can't do it. Therefore, that's why I'm preparing myself to carry my own equipment in January to go and start my work. I can't depend on Liberian government. I can't depend on Liberian. Our people are not committed.
Thank you.
They will tell you something, they will not do it. That's why, my brother, let me prepare myself good, pack my own equipment, go be doing my work. If they see my work and say, well, we're coming to help you, they bring the help, I'll thank God and take it.
Thank you
But
very
brother,
much.
I'll be in Liberia in January to meet my workers for the first time, and I'll be in Liberia for 2 months, come back, pack my things, assess things on the ground, and move back to Liberia to start investing heavily in the soil. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Armstrong and Mr. Galakbai. Listen, the next time, hopefully you can come back with some photos and some videos that we can show our folks what you are talking about.
Yeah.
I know as you have told Mr. Galakbai, we want to see those photos because, we are visual people. When I see some of the things you have done, let the world see it too. So next time we can do it. And hopefully if you have time, you can go to Iowa, take on our brother who said you should come and see what they are doing. And we can learn more. Other than that, I think you guys have been a great host. There were no political talk today. We are not politicizing anything. We are not cursing anybody. We are not.
We are Labira. Labira is our home. Labira people. Labira.